Alright everybody, episode 2, or part 2 if you like, of the Advanced Platoon Leader game system. Brief rundown of some basic core concepts here for you. What else do we got going? We've got, forgot to add, we should mark the weather track. The scenario will give you the current weather condition, but that can also be rolled for. The scenario will in fact inform you of which. For purposes of this demonstration, just clear, so we'll mark clear space. Now, new turn, we've got the Americans, again, default movement phase because nobody enemy-wise is on map. We'll roll for our action points for this round, which is another 6 dice, needing a 1, a 2, or a 3. We get 3 actions there. And let's see here. We've got a 1 die representing the leader. So 3 actions. I had mentioned that a leader is afforded 2 action points each turn, but that is not added to the platoon action point pool. So now we have 3 action points to work with. What we're going to do, we're going to pull this guy up. He has spent 2 movement points or 1 action, which brings that to a 2. But he's also entered a new row. And if you remember correctly, that means we need to conduct a random draw for the next row. And so we get red chit. Got that red chit. Means the German platoon will activate on the weak card. I won't do it for time's sake here, but you will need to conduct an additional chit draw to determine where on the card each unit is placed. So you would have 4 red chits and 8 gray chits. Draw 1 chit for each square. Whenever a red chit is pulled, the German unit is placed. So we'll act as if we did that. Place them thusly. Let's say they were like that. There's our German units. Additionally, we'll need to conduct action points rolls for them, just as we did for the US. Let's see, 1 strength for the German there. We got a 6 strength, morale strength German unit, so when he rolls his 2 dice, he will need a 1 or 2 to get an action point. He rolled a 1, so he gets 1 action point. That brings their action point pool up to 1. The remaining 2 squads, they're both 7, so they just roll 4 dice, needing a 1, a 2, or a 3. That's 2 additional action points, brings that baby up to 3. They're all set. Now, default movement phase is over. What does that mean? That means we're going to start drawing a sequence of play chits. But before we do that, we need to determine who is spotted, because there will be times in which everybody's spotted, nobody's spotted, one side is spotted, one side's not. But you're never going to assume that just because there's now on-map units, they all see each other. This guy is in the open. He is in fact spotted. Now, you don't typically mark anything by way of spotted or unspotted unless the unit is unspotted, which is what the question marks are on the card for. But if it helps you, you can put a little crosshair on there or whatever you like to represent being spotted. Everybody else will need to be rolled for, and to do that, we're not going to roll to see how well somebody is good at seeking, but we're going to roll to see how well a unit is at hiding. So starting with the leader, morale of 7, we're going to roll a morale check. He gets a 10, and as he is in the orchard, that brings that 10 to a 9. However, he only has a morale of 7, so he is in fact spotted as well. That brings us to the other 2 squads. They're going to be hidden. That would be 2nd and 3rd squad because they're too deep in the orchard to be seen. Now, for the Germans, our 3rd squad, which is a strength of 4, is going to be hidden because he's too deep in the wheat. The remaining units will need to be rolled for. So for the leader, he has a morale strength of 8. Rolling that, he rolls a 6. He is therefore unspotted. That brings us to 2nd squad, morale of 6. He rolls a 6. He is also unspotted. That's 2nd squad. And finally, 1st squad, Raw strength is 7. Rolls an 8. However, he's in a wheat field, so that brings it down to 7. He is also unspotted. Now, in a particular case like that, an ambush would result. Essentially, I won't go into that this time, but it's an atypical thing that occurs, although it does occur. An ambush is handled much similarly to a opportunity fire. The Germans would be afforded anybody that has line of sight and enough action points to spend the opportunity fire for free. So scratch that. They wouldn't need to spend action points. That's how ambush would take place. We're going to gloss over that though and assume that first squad is in fact spotted. So let's do that. We'll mark him. Again, you don't need to do this. It's just kind of a crutch, if you will. So there you are. You have Germans with 3 action points, Americans with 2. Now we start drawing. All the spotting checks have been done. What are we drawing? Well, we've got a cup here full of chits. We've got a random event chit. And then we have, each side has their own 4 phase chits. So rally phase, movement phase, fire phase, and assault phase. You may only do that which the phase depicts. So if you pull a fire phase chit, you ain't going to be moving, you're going to be firing, if you so choose. Initiative is determined by draw. So for instance, the first chit we draw is German assault chit. Nobody's able within range to be assaulted, so it's kind of a pass or skip for the Germans, if you will. Americans draw a fire chit. What can the Americans do? Let's see if anybody's in range. To determine range, and similarly with movement, it's pretty straightforward when you go orthogonally. So up and down, left and right, or sideways, you're just going to count. When it comes to diagonal, your first diagonal is a 1. Beyond that, it's going to double. So if we were going to mark a straight diagonal range from here to here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the movement points or range to move diagonally or fire to that square. So he has a range of 4, won't be firing there. Additionally, and this is a non-exact diagonal, cheaty way to determine that is to start 1 square out, start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop 1 square out, 5 from the target, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That unit is therefore out of range of the American unit. So the Americans cannot fire. Draw another chit. German fire phase. And the Germans, good lord, he has a range of 3, which is going to do them absolutely no good, and a range of 4. So he is out of range. The Americans are also out of range. That brings us to random event. When that is drawn, you will roll 3 dice and consult the random events chart. We can do that here if you like. So I will roll 3 dice and I get a 12. So with a 12, we're going to break any German squad, and I will break this guy to denote, actually let's break him. To denote a broken squad, we'll just turn them upside down. Again, if you have a way that you come up with to better represent a broken squad, have at it. That squad is now broken via random event, and that is the only random event of the turn. That brings us to the next chit. American movement phase. Now, 2 action points left. Do something crazy here with this guy and pull him within range, even though he's still in the open. Spend 2 movement points or 1 action point, brings that down to 1 to come within range of the Germans. terrible idea. You should probably pull back and hang out until we figure something else out. But that's what we're going to do for this particular instance. Now, would the German conduct opportunity fire? Well, that depends. If you're not using the AI included in the game, you determine that for yourself. If you were, you conduct a die roll. Based on that roll, would determine if the unit would conduct opportunity fire. So when we begin at the next episode, part 3, we'll go from there.